एवं श्री राधा के कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते ताप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानु सुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिंधु भैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण प्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। Continuing our study and discussion from the third verse. I hope all the three verses are memorized to all of you. Anyone who has so far not memorized the first three verses? All the three verses. Yes, no, bolo. How many of you have memorized first three verses so far? देवर्षिष आपने अभी भी नहीं किया?
Yes, Purport.
Okay. Devadatt, what about you?
ओके प्रभु जी।
हाँ, कर लिया है?
कर दिया जी।
सुनाइए all the three verses together.
प्रभु जी थोड़ा थोड़ा शायद याद नहीं हो।
नहीं, बहुत टाइम दे दिया, ज्यादा हो गए, 10-15 दिन हो गए। बोलो जल्दी बोलो, we have to complete the verse today.
प्रभु जी एक साथ शायद नहीं बोल पाऊंगी।
क्यों? एक साथ तो बोलना बड़ा आसान है, बीच बीच में से पूछेंगे तब दिक्कत है। जल्दी बोलो, इतना उसमें डोंट पुट थिंग्स अप। स्टार्ट।
जन्माद्यस्य कवयो।
गलत गलत गलत, सबसे पहले ही हाउ वी हैव टू बिगिन।
नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। जन्माद्यस्य कवयो।
नो नो, जन्मादियस्य यतः
यतः
अन्वया।
अन्वात्
No, you have to practice.
इतरस्।
You have to
Yes,
practice.
प्रभु।
If you don't practice, if you feel that you don't have time, then you will never have time. There cannot be any better time than this time. Ganesh Prabhu, you will sing. We will experience the rasa. Start.
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। जन्मादियस्य यतोन्मयादितरश्चार्थे स्वविघ्नस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्महृदयादिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरय तेजो वारिमृतां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्नां स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि.
Thank you. Wonderful. Wonderful. Pranav, second verse.
धर्म प्रज्यहित कैटवत्र परमो निर्मत्सराणां सताम् वेद्यं वास्तवम् अत्र वस्तो शिवदं तापत्रयोन्मूलनं श्रीमद्भागवते महामुनि कृते किं वा परैरीश्वर साधो हृदय अवरुद्धते पृथिवी संशुद्धि तत्क्षणात्.
Very good. Sadhya hridaya avarodhate atra kritivi
अत्र
shushtrubhi tashanat. Good. Very good. Pradeep Prabhu, the final verse.
निगमकल्पतरुर्गलितं फलं सुखमुखात् अमृतद्रव संयुतं पिबत भागवतं रसमालयं मुहुरहो रसिभुर्भावका.
Muhuraho rasika bhuvi bhavaka. Keep practicing. At least revise these 3 verses 10 times in a day. You should not leave them. This Bhagavatam is meant to be relished every moment, even for those who are liberated. What to speak of those who are conditioned? This is the highest taste. You will drink Krishna's sweetness, Krishna's beauty, Krishna's affection, Krishna's love in Bhagavatam. That is the purpose of presentation of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. Okay, what is one most inspirational thing that you remember from this third verse? Nikam kalpatarur galitam phalam Shukhamukhat amrit drav samyutam Pivatam bhagvatam rasamalayam Muhuraho rasika bhuvi bhavaka. Without seeing your notebooks or your books. Yes, Sonika.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, one thing which was most of inspiring, that it is the most testier thing, means like most relishable scripture which has been come out through the lotus mouth of Shukadeva Gosvāmī. So it has become more sweeter, like honey. So that inspired me a lot, because it is very relishable.
Okay, very good. See, Nigama means the Vedic literatures. And it is compared to Kalpataru. Nigama Kalpatarur Galitam Phalam. So, what is the phal? What is the fruit of all the Vedic literature? That is Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. This is the most ripened fruit. What is the most attractive part of the tree? Is the flower or the fruit? So amongst all the scriptures, this is the most ripened and relishable fruit. Okay, very good. Please, others can join. बोलिए, भागवत से क्या आपको अनुभूति हो रहा है? बोलिए श्रीमद् भागवतम से. खाली सोनिका को इंस्पिरेशन मिला? बोलिए प्रियंका.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Bhagavatam is the matured fruit, and it is more relishable and more sweet because it is coming down from parampara.
Yeah, it can only be understood. It can only be relished if one is coming in parampara. Otherwise, neither it can be accessed nor the sweetness can be revealed. What was the reference? Where we discussed this? In what context? श्लोक से बताइए.
Prabhuji, it is Sukha Mukhad.
Very good. Yeah, it is Sukha Mukhad. If it is Sukha Mukad, if it is coming in the parampara, it is Amrit Dravya, Rasamali. Otherwise, Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, what people have, do they experience any sweetness? They experience sleep. As soon as Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya starts, they go in their Yoga Nidra or Bhoga Nidra. Not Yoga Nidra is not Vishnu. They go in Nidra. Okay, Pranab Prabhu. Bolo, voluntarily speak.
Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam is released by Paramhamsas. As they are totally purified, so they release its full extent.
A little more elaborate. If they are, if we are, one is not Paramahansa, cannot relish.
Is released, but they can release in fullest extent.
What is the reference? What is the reference in the verse? Quickly, whatever you speak, you have to provide some pramana, some evidence. What basis you are putting forth your argument. Otherwise, then it is speculation. Parampara means that we are citing from evidence on the basis of Guru, Sadhu and Shastra. So what is the praman? Bolo, bolo, jaldi bolo. What you are saying is not wrong, but I want to know the proper reference to the context to what you are speaking. Yes, Pranav, boliye. It is there in the, it is there, it is there.
Hmm.
No, you should be knowing. The proper understanding has to be there. Someone else can explain where it is mentioned in the verse.
Sadho ridi avaruddhate.
We are not discussing that verse. We are discussing Nigam Kalpatarur Galitam. Yes, Sanika? It is there in the verse. It is there in the word meaning and translation both.
Prabhuji, Muhuraho Rasika Bhuvi Bhavuka. Rasika is...
Yes, Rasikaha. Rasikaha Bhuvi Bhavakaha. Rasika is one who is completely liberated, who is in full knowledge. And Bhuvi means this earth, and Bhavaka means those who are expert and thoughtful. Okay, we will go forward. We will go to the remaining part of the purport and we'll begin the next verse also. So this verse is talking about that spiritual rasa, that transcendental rasa. That rasa is the relationship with the Supreme Lord. So we spoke about 5 primarily and 7 secondary relationship. So going further, I'm taking one sloka back, one paragraph back to connect. In this shloka, it is definitely stated that spiritual rasa, which is relished even in the liberated stage, can be experienced in the literature of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam due to its being the ripened fruit of all Vedic knowledge. By whom? Even those who are not liberated. How? By submissively hearing this transcendental literature, one can attain the full pleasure of his heart's desire. So one who is not liberated, one who is not Paramahansa can come to the platform of being fully liberated and becoming a Paramahamsa. How? By taking shelter of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. But one must be very careful to hear the message from the right source. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam is exactly received from the right source because it was brought from Nārada Muni, from the spiritual world. It's very important. How Bhagavatam comes down? It is brought by Nārada Muni from the spiritual world and given to his disciple Śrīla Vyāsadeva. He later in turn delivered the message to his son Śrīla Śukadeva Gosvāmī, and Śrīla Śukadeva Gosvāmī delivered the message to Mahārāja Parīkṣit during the 7 days before the king's death. Śrīla Śukadeva Gosvāmī was a liberated soul from his very birth. We heard the story of Śukadeva Gosvāmī. Sonika had that day shared with us. He was liberated even in the womb of his mother and did not undergo any sort of spiritual training after his birth. At birth, no one is qualified, neither in the mundane nor in the spiritual sense. But Śrīla Śukadeva Gosvāmī, due to his being a perfectly liberated soul, did not have to undergo an evolutionary process for spiritual realization. What is the evolutionary process? What is it called? What is the evolutionary process? That everyone else has to go. That exception is with only Śukadeva Gosvāmī, not with others. What is the evolutionary process for spiritual realization? We have discussed many times. Boliye. You are, posing as if this is a new term which is coming. It is not new. We have discussed so many times. What is the evolutionary process for spiritual realization? Yes, Ganesh Prabhu?
Prabhuji, that yoga leader, karma kanda, nishkam karma.
No. You see the sentence. I'll again read the sentence. You see in what context it is being said. Prabhupada is saying, at birth, no one is qualified, neither in the mundane nor in the spiritual sense. But Śrīla Śukadeva Gosvāmī, due to his being a perfectly liberated soul, did not have to undergo an evolutionary process for spiritual realization. Now please answer. Yes, Pranab Prabhu?
So I think it is samskar.
Yes, it's simple. It is samskar. The 12 reformatory processes, samskars. So, Śukadeva Gosvāmī did not undergo any jat samskar or any namkaran samskar or so many other samskar. Yet, despite his being a completely liberated person, situated on the transcendental position above the 3 material mode, he was attracted to this transcendental rasa of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is adored by liberated soul who sing Vedic hymns. The Supreme Lord pastimes are more attractive to liberated souls than to mundane people. He is of necessity not impersonal, because it is only possible to carry on transcendental rasa with a person. This is very important to understand. Prabhupada is saying that the Supreme Lord's pastimes are more attractive to liberated souls than to mundane people. Who can answer on this? Why the Supreme Lord's pastimes are more attractive to the liberated soul than to the mundane people? Why? Manoram Prabhu?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
When one is in mundane platform, he is having different layers of coverings like false ego and all those things. So he doesn't consider the Supreme Lord as the Supreme, and his eternal relationship with the Supreme also is not evoked.
Very
So
good.
that is why that relationship is not sweet.
His relationship with Maya is very strong. And he is not willing to give up his relationship or attractiveness for Maya. He is enamored by the illusionary energy. Till the time the jiva is enamored by the illusionary energy, he will not find attractiveness in the Supreme Lord. Prabhupada gives the example of iron when it is rusted. The iron, when it is rusted, it is not attracted to the magnet. Okay, very good. He is of necessity not impersonal, because it is not possible to carry on transcendental rasa, because it is only possible to carry out the transcendental rasa with a person. So unless and until one comes to the realization of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he cannot relish, because relishment is between two persons, not with impersonal. In the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, the transcendental pastimes of the Lord are narrated, and the narration is systematically depicted by Śrīla Śukadeva Gosvāmī. Thus, the subject matter is appealing to all classes of persons. See here, not only to Paramhita, it is appealing to all classes of persons, including those who seek liberation to relish the humor of becoming one with the Supreme Whole. In Sanskrit, the parrot is also known as shuka. When a ripened fruit is cut by the red beaks of such birds, its sweet flavor is enhanced. The Vedic fruit, which is mature and ripe in knowledge, is spoken through the lips of Śrī Śukadeva Gosvāmī, who is compared to the parrot, not for his ability to recite the Bhagavatam exactly as he heard it from the learned father, but for his ability to present the work in a manner that would appeal to all classes of men. So Prabhupada is explaining here that it is not erudite scholarship or memory which is more important. Most important is how the subject matter is presented, that it could be understood and appreciated by all classes of men. The subject matter is so presented through the lips of Śrīla Śukadeva Gosvāmī that any sincere listener who hears submissively can at once relish transcendental taste, which are distinct from the perverted taste of the material world. Not necessarily one has to be Paramhansa. If he comes in Parampara, that's very important. If one comes in Parampara, then he has the same opportunity. He has the same equal relishment which is possible. The ripened fruit is not dropped all of a sudden from the highest planet of Krishna Lord. Rather, it has come down carefully through the chain of disciplic succession without change or disturbance. So this is another aspect of Parampara, what it means to be coming in Parampara. Prabhupada is mentioning here, without change. As we have received it, So in the same form and substance is passed on. Nothing is added and nothing is deleted. Here Prabhupada is saying, without change or disturbance. Foolish people who are not in the transcendental disciplic succession commit great blunders by trying to understand the highest transcendental rasa, known as the rasa dance, without following in the footsteps of Śukadeva Gosvāmī, who presents this fruit very carefully by stages of transcendental realizations. One should be intelligent enough to know the position of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam by considering personalities like Śukadeva Gosvāmī, who deals with the subject so carefully. This process of disciplic succession of the Bhagavata school suggests that in the future also for all time, Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam has to be understood from a person who is factually a representative of Śrīla Śukadeva Gosvāmī. A professional man who makes a business out of reciting the Bhagavata is Bhagavatam illegally is certainly not the representative of Śukadeva Gosvāmī. The Prabhupada is very heavy. You know what is professional man? Prabhupada is who makes a business of reciting the Bhagavata. What is the professional man who makes a business of reciting the Bhagavata? Yes, Ganesh Bro?
By taking some Lakshmi,
there are Bhagavat reciters who have charges and fees. So if you hear from such people, so it is very, very dangerous. Even they may be speaking from Bhagavata, but that is not Bhagavatam. Prabhupada is saying, is certainly not a representative of Śukadeva Gosvāmī. Such a man's business is only to earn his livelihood. Therefore, one should refrain from hearing the lectures of such professional men. Such men usually go to the most confidential part of the literature without undergoing the gradual process of understanding this grave subject. They usually plunge into the subject matter of the rasa dance, which is misunderstood by the foolish class of men. Some of them take this to be immoral, while others try to cover it up by their own stupid interpretations. They have no desire to follow in the footsteps of Śrīla Śukadeva Gosvāmī. So Prabhupada is, in a way, is warning us that we should not be inclined to hear from anyone and everyone. You remember what Prabhupada said in Bhagavad Gita? Prabhupada was very heavy. We should not hear like hogs. You know what is a hog? Hog means who has no discrimination. So we have to hear only from those who are the representative of Śukadeva Gosvāmī. One should conclude, therefore, that the serious student of rasa dance should receive the message of Bhagavatam in the chain of disciplic succession from Śrīla Śukadeva Gosvāmī, who describes the Bhagavatam from very beginning, and not whimsically to satisfy the mundaner who has very little knowledge in transcendental science. So Bhagavatam is not to be recited or spoken to satisfy the whims and fancies of the audience. Prabhupada is clearly saying that Śukadeva Gosvāmī describes the Bhagavatam from its very beginning and not whimsically to satisfy the mundaner who has very little knowledge in transcendental science. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam is so carefully presented that the sincere and serious person can at once enjoy the ripened fruit of Vedic knowledge. Prabhupada gives the two qualifications that even a beginner, even a newcomer can relish the highest transcendental pleasure. And what is the qualification? Sincere and serious person. What is the understanding of sincere and serious person here in the context to what we are discussing? What is sincere and serious here in the reference to what we have discussed, especially in relation to Śrīla Śukadeva Gosvāmī? Prabhupada is saying here, Prabhupada is giving a great benediction that whoever is sincere and serious can at once enjoy the ripened fruit of Vedic knowledge. So what it means to be sincere? Yes, Sonika?
Yes. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Sincere means being regular, and serious means being inquisitive to know more about the Lord and their pastimes.
In reference to what we are discussing, the qualification which Srila Prabhupada is giving here in this paragraph. Yes, there, Srila Prabhu. What it means to be sincere?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Prabhuji, we should only hear from the representative of Parampara, which is coming in the Parampara only.
So what is that? That is? Which qualification is this?
It is Prabhuji sincere.
Yes. Sincere means hearing only from authorized representative. Prabhupada is so many times speaking here that one should only be following, one has no desire to follow in the footsteps of Śrīla Śukadeva Gosvāmī. That means one is not sincere. Sincere means he follows in the footsteps of Śrīla Śukadeva Gosvāmī. That is sincerity. Or in parampara. One who is strictly following in parampara, he is sincere. Very good. And what it means to be serious? Someone else should answer. Ravinder Prabhu? What it means to be serious?
Prabhuji, it should be heard regularly, not whimsically.
More clearly. No, still not very clear. Yes, Pranav? Holy, you raised your hand up. आवाज आ रहा है? या बोलिए. प्रणव प्रभु, please speak. You are muted. Unmute and speak.
One should proceed systematically.
Yes. Serious means right from the beginning. Not whimsically. Very simple. Prabhupada is giving this benediction here that a sincere and a serious person can at once enjoy the ripened fruit of Vedic knowledge simply by drinking the nectarian juice through the mouth of Śukadeva Gosvāmī or his bona fide representative. So, Prabhupada's purport ends here. Any question? Any discussion on this verse? Or we go to the next verse, the fourth verse. But we should have. If there is any doubt, any discussion, please come forward.
प्रभु जी, यहीं पे जो वेराइटी रसा के बारे में बताएं, तो रसा जो है भगवान ओनली डिवोटीज के साथ ही शेयर करते हैं या डेमोन्स के साथ भी शेयर करते हैं?
आपको क्या लग रहा है? हाँ? आपके पास जो आपका एसेट है वो आप अपने बिलवड के साथ शेयर करते हैं या अपने दुश्मन को जाके देख के आते हैं?
नहीं,
किसको
मेरा
देते हैं?
प्रभु जी यहाँ पे जो है ना, भगवान तो सबके साथ जैसे कि इक्वल नहीं है, लेकिन सब तो भगवान का ही है। whether he is obedient or not.
आप दो बातें बोल रहे हैं. पहले आपने अभी क्या सेंटेंस बोला?
जो रसास है
दोनों भगवान सबके साथ क्या नहीं है?
सेम नहीं, डिफरेंस है.
कैसे हो सकता है? भगवान ने कहा ये यथा माम प्रपद्यन्ते. जो भगवान के पर्सनल फॉर्म को स्वीकार ही नहीं करता, उसके साथ भगवान का रसा का एक्सचेंज कैसे हो सकता है? हो सकता है क्या?
नहीं.
फिर ये तो वही बात हो गई कि सूर्य सबको रोशनी देता है, तो हर पेड़ में उतने फल क्यों नहीं लगते? लगते हैं क्या?
नहीं.
इसमें किसका दोष है? सूर्य का दोष है या पेड़ का? फिर इसीलिए हम ये प्रोसेस को फॉलो कर रहे हैं, so that our misconceptions, our illusions are dismantled, and our spiritual conceptions they take place, so that we have attraction for the Supreme Lord. अभी हमने डिस्कस किया, when will the attraction for the Supreme Lord can be invoked? When one is sincere and serious. वही यही सेम बात कर रहे हैं. One who is sincere and serious can enjoy the ripened fruit of this Vedic love simply by drinking the nectarian juice. So to the extent we are sincere and seriously following, Krishna releases the taste. To the extent one is desiring and one is working on it. If one has no desire, how can he receive? And why will he receive? So, this is the process of cultivation. Krishnānuṣīlanam bhaktir-uttama. Śrī Rupa Gosvāmī says, Anya bilashita shunyam jnana karmadi anavritam. Krishnānuṣīlanam. It has to be cultivated. And what is the process of cultivation? The process of cultivation is coming in association. And in association, what we have to do, Prabhupada is so many times emphasizing that one has to very submissively hear with attention. Just by submissively hearing with attention, what will be the result? One will awaken his attraction for the Supreme Lord. And once the attraction for the Supreme Lord, to the extent attraction to the Supreme Lord is being awakened, to that extent one can experience the exchange of rasa. One who is having attraction for Maya, how can he have reciprocation of rasa with the Supreme Lord? This is the principle. Yes, Sonika?
प्रभु जी, रविंद्र प्रभु जी के क्वेश्चन का ही कंटिन्यूएशन है. जैसे मेंशन किया गया था रौद्र रस, भयानक रस, विभत्स रस, वीर रस, तो ये तो डिमंस के साथ ही भगवान शो करते हैं ना.
देखिए, जो डीमंस भी हैं वो कौन है? Actually, Bhagavan, Krishna performs the exchange of rasa only with his devotees. But some of his devotees also take the role of demon. Like Jay and Vijay. They are the associates. The Supreme Lord does not exchange his rasa with anyone who is a non-devotee. Is it possible? Is it possible to have any loving reciprocation with someone who is a non-devotee? It is not possible. So like Bhishma Dev was exchanging the Veera Ras, the mellow of chivalry. So who can fight with the Supreme Lord? Only that person whom the Lord chooses. So as I showed to you, as I told you, that Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur and Srila Prabhupada also says that when Bhishmadev is a Mahajan, he is a pure devotee of the Lord. But the Lord wanted to show to the entire world that even my pure devotee who is as powerful as Bhishmadev, who has the benediction of selecting his own departure, even if he is on the wrong side of the religion, he cannot win. But also he was a pure devotee and he was serving the Lord in servitude. And how he was serving? By giving him the pleasure of that fighting chivalrous rasa. So when the arrows of Bhishmadev was piercing the transcendental body of Lord Krishna, Krishna was accepting it as the offering of roses by his devotees. But the same is not said for any other Kaurava warrior. Is it said for Karna? Is it said for anyone else? No one else. Because no one else had that relationship with the Supreme Lord. So, the Lord puts his devotees in such situations for two reasons. Externally, to educate people. The principle of religious practice. So he wanted to show to the entire world that whoever you may be, even if you are Bhishmadev, the vice cannot win over the virtue. But if that devotee, even if he is on the opposite side, if he is my devotee, he can exchange that loving transcendental rasa with. That Krishna was explaining, and Krishna appeared to him. I'll share one experience with you. Today only I had some very, profound experience. Yesterday, suddenly, one of our vegetable support vendor who was serving our temple for last many, many years, more than 14 years. Since 14 years, I am here, and before that he was there. He was bringing all fruits and vegetables in the temple for DT kitchen, for devotee kitchen, for all other, departments. He passed away last night. That is when I got the call. And we were all very sad to see his departure because his service was very, very valuable. 365 days for last so many years. And he was associated with me in my department because of purchase. So I was feeling very awkward that I could not do anything for him. But I was praying to the Lord, and I was praying that at the last time of his departure, your mercy should be bestowed to him. And when finally his body went for cremation, somehow I reached there with 2 more devotees. And at the final point of his departure, when his body was being taken to be put in cremation, we were carrying garlands of their lordships, Radha Parsaarthi. Devashish Prabhu had brought 3 garlands. He exactly brought 3 of the 3 altars he had served for so many years. And we put the Charan Tulsi of the Lord and Charanamrit in his lips, final rite, and we began Kirtan. And he was entered in the fire. So at the last stage, Krishna reciprocated. And Nilambara Prabhu was there with him. Yesterday when I was taking the class, at this time Nilambara Prabhu called me. He was saying that he is breathing his final moments. He may leave any time. And Nilama Prabhu told me that he was chanting Hare Krishna. And I remember he used to distribute Bhagavad Gita also. I used to catch him, and he used to take Bhagavad Gita and give it to so many fruits and vegetable vendors in Ajadpur, the big wholesalers. Many years back, I introduced him on one of the book distribution award ceremony to Guru Maharaj. I had called him on the stage. And Maharaj became so pleased with him. Maharaj blessed him. So I could see the blessing coming through the last stage. Even little sincere, Krishna says, even little sincere service done, Krishna reciprocates. So those who have performed service, definitely they will receive the reciprocation of the Supreme Lord. So here, what is the reciprocation? One who is sincere and serious. What is the reciprocation? That he will taste that highest rasa. What is that rasa? The rasa is the relationship of the Lord. One can experience only the rasa when one is coming in parampara. That means itself is the relationship. Parampara means what? Relationship. So I could very well see how Krishna is so kind. Srila Prabhupada says that even a little service you have done, it will give us eternal benefit. And two of the other devotees also came with me. They were all young devotees, and we could perform kirtan. The last stage, the last rite of his life. Departure, final departure. There's a very beautiful verse in Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, which Bhishmadev himself is saying, Bhaktya Vesha Mano Yasmin. So many times I have taken that verse. Vacha Yan Nam Kirtayan. Tajan Kalevaram Yogi Muchate Kam Karmami. So how Krishna reciprocates? Prabhupada said, I heard in lectures and even in the lecture to introduction of Bhagavad Gita, even in the preface of Bhagavad Gita, that those who are in this Krishna consciousness movement, those who are rendering service in Krishna consciousness movement, their good fortune they will come to know at the time of their departure. The problem with all of us is we are so fruitive that we want instant reciprocation on our own terms. That will not happen. We cannot force Krishna. But definitely Krishna reciprocates. So Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam is inviting Muhurao Rasika Bhuvi Bhavaka to experience that highest rasa. What rasa? That rasa which Krishna is exhibiting in the Vraj Bhumi. That spotless love, that pristine love with the Vrajavasis. I'll stop here. There is another call coming. So please put your best effort, your heart in the first three verses. Sufficiently we have discussed the first three verses. Memorize the first three verses. This is the Mangalacharan. It talks about Sambandh, Abhideya and Prayojan.